Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto training with the God of Thunder, Kurama, Kakashi, Jiraiya and Hinata Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. The aged Hokage sighed. He read the report again and looked at his desk. Are you sure, Inu? Hiruzen had to confirm this. Yes, Hokage-sama. The said man replied. He was wearing the traditional Anbu attire with a dog mask. He continued, Jiraiya-sama's information was accurate, but I was unable to inspect the place as there was nothing left. But we were able to find some ninja activities a bit further away. What about this explosion that you have put on the report? The Hokage still couldn't take his eyes off from the object that was on top of his desk. It is just my speculation, Hokage-sama, but I believe that it played a part in the explosion. I can't say much about the explosion, but the marks it left behind was really, how should I say, weird. All I can say for sure that it was an S-rank jutsu, but you can't put your finger on the origin of it. Hokage finished for Inu. The Anbu just nodded back. Anything about the scroll? The Hokage looked at a scroll. It was a small scroll engraved with Uzushio's symbol as well the said object's symbol. Hiruzen was hoping that some sort of instruction or information was inside the scroll that could help to solve the mystery around their current predicament. Nothing. I studied about seals, but this is way out of my league. The only person who can open it is probably Jiraiya-sama. Inu replied back in a bit disappointed voice. Okay, for now seal these inside the forbidden scroll. And Inu, you are to participate in the Genin selection as a Jonin instructor next week. Is it necessary? Inu sighed. The council wants you to train Sasuke, you being the only one with Sharingan can teach him about his bloodline. Hiruzen just shook his head. He still has to pass my test. Inu shrugged, making the Hokage to sigh. Hiruzen gave a dismissing wave and the Anbu left not a second later. The Hokage took out his pipe. He wanted to make head and tail of the situation. Few weeks back Jiraiya sent him some vital information about some ruins located somewhere along the outskirts of Konoha. He sent an Anbu squad led by Kakashi to search the ruins. It was supposed to belong to the Uzumaki clan. But before the Anbu could even reach the ruins, they were slowed down by a sudden storm that came out of nowhere. It was so strong that even he felt it from all the way here. And it didn't stop there. The Anbu reported that there was a huge explosion, and when they went there was nothing left. The only clue of the explosion they found was the aftermath of it, which created a huge crater as if it was caused by a strong phenomenon like meteor falling from the sky, and the power of the explosion was so strong that it left nothing behind around few 100-meter radius. But the odd part was only those items were left unscratched on middle of the crater, that object and the scroll. The Hokage sighed and put down the report. He would have to think about it later. Next week there were new batches of Genin coming out and a few Jonin instructors had already made some recommendation. He had to oversee the making of the teams. This was going to be another long night for him. 1 week later. It was a bad day for a certain blonde. He failed the graduation exam again. He studied and practiced hard, but at the end, just because he couldn't do one bunshin, he failed. Except for the written portion, he did quite average on other fields. But it wasn't enough. Why? That's the only thought that was going through his mind. He always tried his best till he fell over, but it was never enough. And no one helped him at all. All he ever asked for was the recognition of the people, to look at him, to smile at him. Was it so much to ask? Sometimes he wondered if all of these were worth anything. He looked at the sky. It was cloudy, a storm was coming. Hey Naruto, how are you feeling? Naruto was snapped out from his thought and looked at the person. It was Mizuki. He didn't like this instructor that much, never knew why. It was more like a gut feeling. What do you think, sensei? I failed in the test again. He said sourly. Mizuki was glad inside. Everything was going just like he was hoping for. Naruto, do you know about a secret test? It's for those that fail but might have potential in other areas. Wanna hear about it? You might pass if you do it properly. He laid out the bait. Really, sensei? What is it about? Of course I will take it, believe it. Naruto was ecstatic. Hook, line and sinker. Inside, Mizuki started laughing. What they didn't notice that they were both seen by a blue-haired girl who left hurriedly. Few hours later. Naruto stopped and hid behind a tree. Wow. I didn't know Gigi was a pervert too. That made things way lot easier. He looked at the huge scroll and smirked. Well, Mizuki-sensei didn't say that I can't learn anything for myself. I mean, I will be considered as an idiot if I don't give a peek. With that, he opened the scroll and started to look for anything good. Most of the jutsu were complicated, as in he got zero idea what they were meant to use for. And some even sounded downright weird. But one jutsu caught his attention, and it was Shadow Clone Jutsu. Somewhere else. Iruka was running with Hinata to find Naruto. The girl came to his house and told him about Mizuki. If it was anyone else, he would have thought that it was a bad joke, but Hinata's worried eyes and her frantic gestures told him that she wasn't lying. It angered him, but instead of going after Mizuki, he rushed to go to the tower to inform Hokage about the matter. But when he saw few Anbu running around, he knew that the damage had been done. He sent a message to the Hokage and started looking for Naruto. He couldn't lose time now. He had to find Naruto before Mizuki would. Hinata tagged along. He wanted to send her back, but he really needed her Byakugan, and the girl was determined to help. His only wish was that he could find the boy whom he started to see as a little brother before it was too late. Back with Naruto. Wow, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I should check out if there is anything else. With that, he started looking into the scroll again. His body was a bit ragged. It was hard to learn at first, but he still pushed forward, and at the end he learned it. Although he got few cuts on his hand courtesy of the tree next to him as he punched it when he got frustrated at the middle of his learning. But he didn't wish to stop now because he wanted to see if he could learn something more, something important. Chances like this never came so often. Then he saw the last part of the scroll. Nothing was written there, but there was a symbol, and it looked like the one he wore on his jacket. He touched it with his bloody hand and was surprised when suddenly smoke came out from there. When the smoke cleared, he saw a mask and small scroll lying there. The mask looked weird to him, but for some reason he felt calm when he held the mask. Weird. Naruto thought as he took the scroll, and he was surprised when he saw that his jacket symbol again, and this time it had the picture of the mask with it also. He touched the scroll with his bloody hand again, and immediately with a click sound the scroll loosened up. Naruto was surprised to see the scroll opening. He opened it to see what was written there. Raijin, the Shinto god of lightning. With the help of this divine mask you shall be able to call forth the blessings of Raijin, god of lightning, thunder and storms. Be wary, summoner. If your intention is vile, you will be punished for your malicious intent. You will be reduced to nothing, as the power of the storm will tear you apart from inside. Take heed, summoner. Even if your intention is good, you will have to pay the price for wanting such a power. For this your soul will be his to command. Let the storm obliterate everything in its path. Asterisk. Holy shit. That's the only thought that came to Naruto. To summon a divine god. A god? Are you freaking kidding me? Naruto read the warning again and he felt shiver running down his spine. I don't know if it is bullshit or real, but whoever wrote this really knows how to keep everyone away. I would like to keep my soul to myself, Thank you very much. Naruto tried to put the scroll and the mask back inside, but, okay, how am I supposed to put the mask and the scroll back? Damn it. He sighed as he finished debating with himself. There wasn't much time left, so he would have to ask Mizuki-sensei later. He put the mask and the scroll inside his jacket, closed the forbidden scroll and started heading toward the meeting point. It didn't take long for him to reach there. Naruto sat down and started waiting for Mizuki as he noticed that he came a bit early, but he couldn't help it, he was excited. He heard some noises, and when he looked around he was surprised to see Iruka and Hinata. Hey Iruka-sensei, what are you? But he was cut off when Iruka dashed to him. Grabbing him he jumped back, and he did all these in 5 seconds. Naruto was surprised, and then he was shocked to see there were kunais on the place where he was standing. Mizuki was not having a good time. He had to slow down to make sure no one was following him. Now before he could even get to Naruto, Iruka was there already, and the main problem was Hinata. Having here there complicated things a lot, but the main problem was time. He didn't have any to waste. He had to jump the gun as the clock was ticking. Naruto, this is a trap. I already sent a message to Hokage. Before Iruka could finish, Mizuki started laughing. He looked at Naruto with a disgusted face and shouted, "Hey Naruto, you want to know why the villagers hate you?" "Why everyone?" Mizuki. Iruka shouted, and he threw some shuriken at him. Mizuki jumped and hid behind a tree. Naruto, Hinata, go get help, you won't stand a chance against him. Go. Iruka told both the kids. Before both of them could run, don't you want to know Naruto? Why everyone ignores and neglects you? Mizuki started saying while jumping behind the trees. Naruto stopped hearing that. Hinata got worried when she looked at the eyes of the blonde. There was desperation, something she had never seen before. Iruka tried to go after him, but Mizuki kept throwing shuriken at the kids, keeping him defending them. 12 years ago, Yondaime couldn't kill the Kyuubi, so he sealed it inside a baby, and guess what? That baby is you, Naruto. Time seemed to stop for Naruto. All the time the question he always asked himself, why, had finally been answered. He didn't wait to see the look on Hinata or Iruka's face. He jumped and started running away. Hinata was heartbroken after knowing the truth. When she looked at Naruto, she could see the pain in his eye, the fear. Before she could say anything, he jumped away. Without a second thought, Hinata gave pursuit. Naruto. Hinata. Iruka screamed, but before he could do anything he saw a Fuma shuriken coming at him. He jumped to avoid, and then he saw his mistake. Another Fuma shuriken was coming at him, while he was still in midair. Hinata was running. She could see Naruto with her Byakugan. She couldn't take this. The boy she admired and liked was torn to pieces. She couldn't run away now. He needed her. She needed to tell him that all this didn't matter. She suddenly saw a Fuma shuriken coming at her from behind fast. She dodged it, but not fast enough as it cut her leg. She took her gentle fist stance and stood there. She looked at her leg. It wasn't deep cut, but she could see she wouldn't be able to outrun Mizuki now. But she was glad when she saw that Naruto also stopped behind some trees. But she had to focus on Mizuki now, for she would protect him with her life. Why do you care for the demon child, Hinata? You know that he is the fox that caused so much pain all those years back. Many of your clan members died too, if I remember. Mizuki was trying not to kill Hinata. Killing the Kyuubi brat and Iruka was one thing, but a clan heiress was another. You are wrong. Naruto-kun isn't a demon. He is a b-boy that tries his hardest and always stands up no matter what. I don't care if he has Kyuubi inside of him. He is not the KY Kyuubi. He is Naruto, the person I admire most, and I will not let you kill him. Hinata shouted. Mizuki was pissed. He really didn't want more trouble, but now there was no other way. He had to kill her and find Naruto fast. Naruto was shocked to hear this. Hinata didn't mind that he had the Kyuubi inside of him. Sure, he didn't know the girl that much, but he knew that she was shy, quiet and a bit weird, but also caring. And here she was saying all these gentle things about him, but one thing that rang through his head the most, that she saw him for who he was, not the Kyuubi. He looked out from the tree and was horrified when he saw Mizuki threw his Fuma shuriken and he started preparing another. Hinata dodged the first one and then she saw Mizuki throwing another one. With her eyes she saw that the first one was coming back from behind. She knew she might not be able to dodge both of them at once with her damaged leg. Naruto was terrified. The first person that recognized him was going to die right in from him. He started running toward her, but he knew he couldn't reach her in time. He needed to be a god to reach the mask of Raijin. Screw the warnings, he thought to himself as he had to save her no matter what. Without another thought he took out the mask and wore it directly. And then everything went blank. Dot, 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 dot. Naruto's mindscape. Kyuubi looked in front of his cage. He was surprised. Who knew that the brat had it in him? I am surprised to see you didn't zap the kid to death. Kurama, it's been long since we faced each other. Last time it was with Hagoromo Dono, said a figure which was covered in shadow. How are you? I am sure you didn't come to chat with me, and by the looks of it you got something to do with the stupid host of mine. Kurama said bitterly. The stupid host of yours interests me. Naruto is it? Maelstrom. Sounds befitting. The figure chuckled. Oi, what are you thinking of doing with him? Kurama was surprised. It was like the figure was enjoying himself. Kurama, this kid, from what I saw through his memories, despite all the treatment he gets, he still stays strong. Something that is rare in this world. Don't you agree? Kurama laughed. You do know that it is a mask he created to protect himself, right? Nonetheless, a mask to protect his innocence. The reason he never came to this part of his mindscape till now shows that even all the abusing he got, he still doesn't hold hatred in his heart. Sadness, yes, envy, maybe, but not hatred. And the mask helped him to become courageous and strong. For that he earned my respect. The figure replied back. Why are you so interested in a mere mortal? It's not like you, Kurama said with an edge in his voice. When he wore the mask, he should have been killed instantly, but your yang chakra intervened, my divine chakra, Kurama. If you had both of your chakra, things might have been different. It feels like this kid has a destiny of his own and he can't die right now. I will watch and see where this destiny of his leads him to. Goodbye, Kurama. With that the figure left. Dot, 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 dot. With Naruto. Naruto opened his eyes. His body was sore. He sat down and looked around. He was on top of the clouds. Well, this sucks. I thought the heaven will look a bit nicer than this. Naruto sighed. Trust me boy, this is not heaven, and no, you are not dead yet, said a voice behind him. Naruto jumped and slowly looked behind him. There was a huge guy behind him. He was more than 8 feet tall, and behind him few spheres were forming a circle with 3 tomo inside each circle. He had a muscular body and his hair was crimson red. The thing that caught Naruto's eyes was the mask he was wearing. It was the same mask he was carrying, but looked more deadly. Most of his body was covered by shadow, even the eyes. Who are you, sir? For some reason Naruto thought he shouldn't piss off this guy. Why not give a guess, boy? Raijin mused. Your mask looked a lot like the one I. Naruto gulped. By any chance, are you Raijin, Shinto god of lightning? Yes, that I am. So why did you try to summon me, boy? You do know that your soul will be mine to command. Raijin said with a false edge voice. He wanted to test his determination. Naruto was taken aback first, but he quickly got over it when he remembered why he did what he did. I don't care. I want to save my friend. She recognized me despite my burden. I will save her at any cost, even in exchange for my life. Naruto shouted, looking straight at Raijin. Raijin was having more respect toward the boy. Here he was staring at him directly without a scare, even knowing who he was. And unlike others that tried to summon him before, he didn't want to use his divine power for destruction but to save a life. All of this facts together was increasing Raijin's view toward Naruto. Don't worry, you won't die cause of your special case. You are one lucky kid, do you know that? And you interest me. So I will give you my blessing for your courage and honesty. But you have to. I accept. Naruto shouted. Blessing from a Shinto god. With that power I will be able to protect all of my precious people. Raijin smiled inwardly. Naruto didn't know, but Raijin could hear all his thoughts. Maybe he will do just fine. Fine then, you will have my blessings and you will gain new powers to help you in your journey, but be aware, little fellow, from time to time you will be tested by me to see if you will still be worthy enough to keep them. In those times your will and courage will be put to test and judged. Fail and you will receive punishment worse than death. Do you still accept, kid? Raijin asked one last time. I accept, Datbeo. I promise I will not fail you no matter what test you put me through. And I never go back down on my words. It's my Nindo. Naruto said loudly. He wouldn't back down. Not now, not ever. You are indeed one amusing kid and I respect that strong will of yours. Never lose that will and courage, kid. I will leave my companion here, so that he can guide you how to use the powers. Farewell, Naruto. Let's pray our next meeting will also be a pleasant one. Naruto suddenly felt like he had been hit by thunder. His whole body started to feel numb and he slowly started to lose consciousness. Dot. Real world. Naruto opened his eyes and tried to look around, but for some reason moving a single muscle hurt like hell. He felt like he was grabbing something. He looked down and he saw he was holding onto Hinata, as was she. He could feel her heartbeat. She is alive. He relaxed, closed his eyes and thanked Raijin. Few moments later Kakashi and an Anbu squad came to the spot. Kakashi was surprised to see that the Naruto was in the middle of an explosion zone that looked exactly like what he saw on his last mission. He saw Naruto was holding onto Hinata like she was his lifeline. He tried to separate them, but the moment he touched Naruto he felt like he had been zapped hard. Before he could try do anything, Hokage arrived there as well. He didn't even look anywhere else as he strode right toward the kids. Kakashi, go get Hiashi. I will take these two to hospital. He ordered. Kakashi hesitated for a bit but then he sighed and left. Hokage looked at Naruto and hoped nothing bad happened, but looking around he knew that he was wrong. He just had to wait to hear all the details from him directly. With that he carefully picked both of them up and shunshine to the hospital. Hiruzen was looking at the hospital bed where his surrogate grandson was sleeping. His body and appearance went through slight changes and he got no idea how it happened. He grew few inches taller, his hair was spikier and his face had lost some of his baby fat. Hiruzen started to get worried. Was it Kyuubi's influence or was it something else? That's the only thought that was going through his mind. For now he had to wait for Naruto to wake up. He got out of the room and silently signaled the Anbu to stand guard. He went towards the other room thinking that they might shed some light to this new mystery. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto started to wake up slowly. He rubbed his eyes and started looking around. He was not on top of clouds anymore, but this time it was a huge sewer. There was something in front, a light perhaps. He started walking towards that direction. He stopped when he saw a huge cage-like gate. Behind the gate it was pitch black. Finally we meet. My jailer. A deep voice spoke from behind the gate. Kyuubi? Naruto asked. He jumped back when he saw the huge red eyes, filled with hatred, but there was something else hidden deep inside those eyes. So you are the reason my life is like hell. Wow. That answers a lot of questions. Naruto sighed. It was not by choice that I ended up inside a brat like you, that cursed Yondaime sealed me in you. Without this seal I would have shown you real hell, brat. If you blame anyone, blame that good-for-nothing blonde monkey. Kyuubi hissed. Shut up, furball. Naruto shouted. He just met his prisoner and he was already getting pissed at him. Why not you guys stop bickering like little kids? Spoke a new voice. This voice was deep and it had a thunderous edge to it. Naruto was scared now, because this new voice was right behind him. Damn, he hated it whenever this happened. He looked behind and saw a huge wolf. Oh crap. Real world. Hiruzen went inside another hospital room. Hinata was there with her father Hiashi. He knew the guy, a typical stoic type noble clan head. He looked at Hinata who was looking down. He had to handle this carefully. Hiashi, thank you for coming so fast. Hiruzen said. No problem, Hokage-sama. If I may, I still didn't get the full report on why my eldest daughter is here. Hiashi said with no expression whatsoever. Your daughter along with Naruto and Iruka helped to catch a traitor. I will mark it as a B-ranked mission and will pay them accordingly. I will give you the full report tomorrow. But I want to ask something to your daughter alone if that's okay with you. Hiruzen hoped this ought to calm him down. Not a problem, Hokage-sama. Hiashi was a bit surprised. His daughter, who was considered as a failure in his clan, did a B-rank mission the day she graduated as a genin. Guess there may still be some hope left, he thought, but he didn't like his daughter associating with the Jinchuriki, although for a different reason, but for now he would have to let it go. Hinata, take rest for today, I will come tomorrow and take you back. With that he left. Hinata let go of her breath, she didn't know how long she was holding it. At least her father was not angry. Hokage-sama, how is Naruto-kun? She finally asked the question that was on her mind since she woke up. Hiruzen smiled, but he needed some answers first. Hinata, he is fine, just exhausted. But I want to ask you some question. He asked, and when Hinata nodded, he continued, what do you remember before you passed out? Hinata closed her eyes as she tried to remember the event. I don't remember much, Hokage-sama. I wasn't injured when I got hit by Mizuki-sensei's Fuma-S shuriken, but before I got hit by another of his Fuma shuriken, I suddenly saw a huge lightning shaped like so something hit behind me. It was so strong that I had to turn off my Byakugan and even had to close my eyes. After that I don't remember much. She left the part out where she was caught by two hands when she turned off her Byakugan. She didn't need to see to know who it was, but by just thinking of that moment her face flushed up. More mystery. This couldn't get any worse, Hiruzen thought. Hokage-sama, the council has called for a meeting. An Anbu came and informed the old Hokage. Hiruzen sighed, he shouldn't have said that. He cursed his luck and went towards the council room. Back to Naruto's mindscape. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Naruto was panicking. In front of him was this gigantic wolf staring at him. He was almost as tall as the freaking Hokage Tower. But unlike Kyuubi, this guy was not inside any cage. The wolf had blue and white fur mixed in, his whole body was emitting lightning streaks, but unlike actual lightning his were more controlled, acting like it was a second fur over his normal one. He had this divine aura surrounding him that was fully opposite of the demonic aura he felt when he talked with Kyuubi. So you are the brat that impressed Lord Raijin. You don't look like someone who can hold onto his nindo. The beast said. Naruto's emotion did a 180 turn. Who do you think you are insulting, my nindo? I am Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of Konoha, and I never back down on my words. I don't care who you are, but insult my Nindo again and I will beat you to a pulp. I think I know now why Lord Raijin found this boy amusing. The beast spoke again, but a bit gentler this time. My name is Raiju. I am the legendary divine thunder beast and the trusted companion of Lord Raijin. Tell me, boy, do you still think you can beat me to a pulp, Raiju said with an amused voice. Naruto didn't say anything, but he didn't look away. Raiju was impressed of the boy's courage. Any other people would have been scared or begged him for mercy by now. Why are you here then, Raiju? Naruto asked. Maybe we should go somewhere a bit nicer. Would you like to change the place? Raiju answered. Looking behind Naruto, he saw Kyuubi had gone deep inside the cage. Guess he was not interested in their conversation for now. Sure, but how do you change the place? Naruto told the beast, looking around the sewer. This is your mind, boy. Think of a quiet place you like and then focus on the image. Raiju explained to Naruto and he did so. Naruto closed his eyes and concentrated, thinking of his favorite quiet place. When he opened his eyes to see that he was on top of the Hokage monument, on his favorite spot, top of Yondaim's head. Not a bad place, kid. It's got a nice feeling to it. Sit down. We got lot to talk about. Raiju told Naruto. Naruto sat down. He knew this was going to take some time. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen sighed. The civilian council was in uproar. Few hours ago all of them felt the huge chakra wave, and also the explosion and the sudden increase of the storm didn't help either. Shinobi's side was quiet, but they were on an edge as well because they were able to feel the Kyuubi's chakra. Everyone was waiting for the Hokage to explain the situation. I know all of you are nervous and want to know what happened, but right now I, myself don't have the full information of the situation, but rest assured it was not done by an enemy attack. Few hours ago Mizuki tried to trick one student into stealing the forbidden scroll, but Iruka along with 2 students stopped the traitor. But something went wrong with the forbidden scroll and the accident happened. The council room became a bit quiet after hearing this. Homura asked, "Is the forbidden scroll okay?" The aged Hokage sighed, and replied, "Yes, it is fine, and further information will be given after I sort out everything. For now the meeting is over." There were lots of displeased faces, but right now he didn't care as he needed some rest. Back with Naruto. Wait, what do you mean you made changes to my body? Naruto shouted. Calm down, boy. I didn't make any major changes. Your body changed slightly while adapting to the new power Lord Raijin bestowed upon you. Raiju explained. What power? I don't feel any different. Naruto was puzzled. Of course you won't feel any different cause you are in your mind. Boy, calm down and let me finish first. Raiju sighed. He knew Naruto would be the energetic type but didn't know how much. Now as for this new power, it's an enhanced element. You have both Uzumaki and Senju blood, though the Senju blood is more dormant. However, cause of Lord Raijin's blessing your Senju blood has awakened. Now tell me, do you know anything about the Senju and Uzumaki bloodline? Raiju asked. Naruto was speechless. He never knew there was an Uzumaki clan, and now he learned that he also had Senju bloodline, one of the founders of Konoha. Finally getting out his surprised state, he looked at Raiju. I don't know about those clans, but how do you know which clan I am from? Do you know who my family is? Naruto asked with a shaky voice. He couldn't help but to feel some hope rising inside him. Raiju was a bit surprised. Then he remembered what Raijin had told him when he was asked by the Shinto god to look after the child. Flashback. Is it must that I have to guide this kid? He doesn't look much. And if you gave him your blessings, isn't he supposed to prove his worth on his own? Raiju asked the lightning god curiously. He has great potential. And yes, like you said, if it was normal circumstances, I would have preferred that he proved his worth on his own, but after I saw his memories and learned of his family, I want this kid to have someone to guide him. And who else I can trust with this more than you, my old friend? Raijin said. What about his memories and his family? Raiju was a bit confused. Let's just say he is from a noble family, but he is being treated like dirt. And if you want to motivate him, just tell him that next time we meet, if he is able to please me, I will tell him about his family. Flashback ends. Truthfully speaking, kid, I don't know about your family. I was told by Lord Raijin about your family status, and before you start asking, Lord Raijin said that he will tell you about your family only if you can prove your worth the next time you meet. Naruto was shaking. He finally found a lead on his family. He would prove his worth to the Shinto god, no matter what challenges he would throw at him. Raiju was impressed. Few moments ago the kid seemed like he was going to break down, and now there was a fierce determination in his face. His eyes were clearly telling that he was ready for anything. Raiju-san, you were saying something about my bloodline. Dot, 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 dot. Outside world. Hokage was looking at Naruto. He needed to know Naruto's part of the story, and he knew that was the key fragment of the situation. He didn't like to do this, but it had to be done fast before certain parties started to make their moves. Is it necessary, Hokage-sama? Inoichi, the clan head of Yamanaka, asked. You know very well, Inoichi. When the explosion happened, there was a sudden spike of Kyuubi chakra, and it was different than what we felt 12 years ago, as if it was covered by something else and it was gone as quickly as it came. But I am sure quite a few people felt it, and so I need to confirm if everything is okay or not. Hokage replied. The clan heads didn't have any hatred towards the boy, but that didn't mean they were going to overlook this. From the meeting he could see all of them wanted to know what had happened. Very well, Hokage-sama. After saying that, Inoichi touched Naruto's head and he dived into his mind. Less than a minute, Inoichi let go of Naruto's head and looked surprised. What happened? Hokage inquired. Nothing. I don't know how, but his mind seems to be well guarded, as something pushed me away before I can check his memories. I couldn't even enter his mind properly. If it makes you feel any better, Hokage-sama, I didn't feel Kyuubi's chakra. Inoichi answered. Hokage just shook his head. They were back to square one. The mental barrier. If it is not Kyuubi, then was it Minato? Did he create a protective barrier for him? He would have to ask Jiraiya to come and check the seal. In the meantime, he had to take measures before certain people started to make move on Naruto. Back to Naruto. What happened? Naruto asked Raiju. While explaining, the beast suddenly stopped moving in the middle and had a blank look on his face for few seconds. Nothing, kid. Now where was I? Yes, your bloodline. Let me explain a little bit about Senju bloodline. The ones who have strong Senju blood in them, they can manipulate natural affinities, and some of them, the strong ones, can cope with senjutsu. Raiju started explaining. Raiju-san, what is senjutsu? Naruto asked with a clueless face. Raiju only sighed. This was going to take time. Naruto, there are 6 major type of jutsu people can use. I think you know about ninjutsu, genjutsu and taijutsu. The other 3 are bukijutsu, fuinjutsu and senjutsu. Now bukijutsu, as it sounds, is techniques in jutsu using weapons. With proper training they can be as deadly as taijutsu, maybe more. Fuinjutsu is one of the most complicated type of jutsu. I don't know much about it though. As an Uzumaki you should have an upper hand on this, but we will talk about it later. Now senjutsu is one of the most ancient styles. Blessed with natural chakra, you will fight as a sage rather than a ninja. Raiju smiled when he saw Naruto getting excited. He continued, now in your case, you have 2 bloodlines. Naruto let the information sink in, not one but two bloodline. He started jumping around and started shouting and cheering for being so awesome. Raiju waited, then he asked, "You done?" Naruto stopped but his whole body was shaking with excitement. "Let me tell you what your bloodline does and what I am here for. Your first bloodline that you got by birth, the Uzumaki bloodline gave you excessive chakra, healing ability and it would make easier for you to learn Kenjutsu and Fuinjutsu. It's more like a passive bloodline. Now your Senju side awakened by Lord Raijin has given you Storm Release and the ability to use Senjutsu directly." Naruto was confused, he was excited but this was too much for him to know at once. Raiju knew the look. He knew he was the only one that could answer all of his questions right now and he had to be patient about it. "Kid, I know this is too much to take. So for now I will just explain to you what Storm Release is. I will tell you about the Senjutsu when I see you are ready. Now do you know anything about Wood Release or Ice Release?" Raiju asked. "Don't know about the Ice Release but I heard that Shadaime was able to use Wood Release." Naruto replied. "Wood Release is an enhanced natural element combining earth with water. Same with Ice Release, you combine water with wind, you get an enhanced natural element. But those without the bloodline won't be able to use it properly. So can you guess what Storm Release is?" Raiju asked Naruto. "Something to do with lightning element." Naruto answered. "Yes, lightning combining with wind and water, you can get the Storm Release. It's one of the most hardest enhanced element to control and one of the strongest cause instead of combining two elements, you are combining three. Storm Release. It sounds cool. Awesome." Naruto smirked. "And as for why I am here to guide you, to tell you what to do and how to control your element and powers although I won't be helping you directly. I will stay inside your mind for some time. Hope you don't mind having a new tenant," Raiju said while looking behind as if he was looking deep inside his mind. "Of course you can stay, you are better than the stupid furball anyway." Naruto was excited to have a legendary beast inside him and not only that, he would guide him as well. "Good to know and one more thing kid, I can talk with you through your mind, so if you want to talk to me just talk through your thoughts." Naruto nodded and suddenly he felt very tired and before he could ask anything he was drifted to sleep. Raiju was a bit excited as well, it had been quite some time since he had something like this to do. Maybe Lord Raijin is right, it could be amusing. Hokage Tower. Hiruzen was relaxing in his chair, he knew he needed that. Today was anything but peaceful. The talk he had with his advisors was not pretty either. Flashback. Let me get this straight, just because you felt Kyuubi's chakra, you want the boy to do underground Anbu training, Danzo. Hiruzen looked at his other advisors. And you two also think this is a good idea. Hiruzen, I know you care for the kid but the chakra spike wasn't normal. It was huge and combining with the explosion many shinobi started to think it was caused by Kyuubi. Homura explained, he knew Hiruzen was right with his decisions lots of time but in many cases they needed to follow Danzo's way. We are just saying put the boy in Anbu training program and when everything calms down you can bring the boy back to normal ninja routine. Kaharu added a bit of her thought. Hiruzen knew exactly what was going on. Danzo wanted Naruto on his route and using these two idiots he was trying to push him into it. The moment he would put Naruto in Anbu training program Danzo would try to snatch him. If Danzo wanted to play dirty so would he. We will discuss this on tomorrow's meeting. Tell all the shinobi clan heads to come at morning and there we will decide this properly. Flashback ends. Now he had to make sure he handled this carefully. He was making a huge bet on this. If he could pull this off, the advisors as well as Danzo wouldn't be able to easily eye their hands on Naruto anymore. You called for me, Hokage-sama. And Anbu came and kneeled down before him. Yes, I did. Relax, we got much to discuss about. Naruto started to wake up slowly. Damn. I feel like I have been struck by lightning or something. My whole body feels numb. He started looking around, and by the looks of things he knew he was in one of his least favorite place, the hospital. He slowly adjusted himself. He opened his blanket and saw himself wearing hospital gown. He saw an Anbu peek through the door and then left. Probably to call Gigi-san. Naruto. Raiju called him. What's wrong, Raiju-san? Naruto asked, but he was silenced soon after. Kid, I told you, just think and I can hear you. Don't need to talk aloud as people will get suspicious. Raiju told Naruto. When he saw Naruto became quiet, he continued, Look, Naruto, don't tell anyone about Lord Raijin and me yet. Listen to me first. He said when he saw Naruto was going to say something. Power and blessings from a god is not to be taken lightly, you can't tell just anyone about it. Naruto got a little angry. I trust Gigi, he is one of my most precious people and I know he cares for me. Caring and trusting is different thing, Naruto. How about this? You ask this Hokage of yours about your other tenant and your parents. As a Hokage, he should know who your parents are. From there we will decide what to do. Naruto didn't say anything, but he couldn't understand what Raiju meant by that. He asked Hokage lots of time about his parents, but every time he said he didn't know them. A few minutes later, Hokage came to his room and smiled at him. How are you doing, Naruto? Hokage asked. Gigi, I am fine. He stopped for a bit. Why didn't you tell me about Kyuubi? You knew about it, didn't you? Naruto accused. He didn't know what Raiju wanted, but he himself wanted to get some answers. Naruto, you have to understand, you were young and you still are. I couldn't give you any more burden than you already have. I wanted you to have a normal childhood and I know I failed at it, but at that time I thought you were not ready to know about Kyuubi, Hokage replied with a sad tone. Before he could ask anything to Naruto, the next question caught him off guard. Gigi, why did Yondaime seal the Kyuubi inside me? Did he know my family? Do you know my family? This was too hard for the old Hokage. Every time Naruto asked about his parents, his heart broke by lying to him, but this information was too much and he couldn't risk exposing Naruto to more dangers than he already was. I am sorry, Naruto, but I don't know why Yondaime chose you or who your parents were. He is lying. When he answered your first question, he looked right at you, but now he is avoiding, even you can see the guilt in his face. He is hiding something, and if you look carefully you can tell that by the man's gesture. Raiju told Naruto, and when he saw Naruto was going to shout, Don't. Leave it be. If he doesn't want to tell you, then you shouldn't tell him everything. Just tell him this. Raiju explained to Naruto fast about what he should tell. Hiruzen got worried when he saw Naruto became quiet after hearing his answers and kept his eyes closed. You wanted to ask me something? Naruto asked, but he kept his eyes shut. Hiruzen knew something was wrong, but he put the thought aside. Naruto, what happened with Mizuki? I heard from Hinata and Iruka, but I still need to know from you. Do you know anything about that mask? Hinata. With all the commotion going on, he forgot to ask about her. He guessed that his first priority after this would be to see her. He also needed to know what Iruka-sensei thought of him. First, I am sorry. I know I shouldn't have stolen the forbidden scroll. And I don't remember much after I wore the weird-looking mask. When I saw Hinata was in danger I wore it to save her. It came with a scroll and it was said there that the mask can only be worn by those who have storm release bloodline or a fragment of it, and it will help the wearer to unlock the true power behind the bloodline. But it also stated that those who do not have the bloodline will be punished. In a panic, I wore the mask, and seeing that I am still alive means I have the bloodline, right? Naruto told exactly how Raiju said to him. Hiruzen was speechless. Storm release bloodline, and the mask helped to achieve true power behind it. Maybe that was the reason that other party wanted the mask. That answered most of his questions. But he wondered if Minato had the bloodline. Naruto did say even a fragment of the bloodline would do the job. He shook his head. He would think about it later, but for now he knew what to do in the council, as the information he received would definitely come in handy. Smiling at Naruto, he said, "Thank you, Naruto. Why don't you rest for a while? The doctor said that you should be fine after a while." Then he turned to leave. "Thank you, Hokage-sama." Hiruzen stopped. He slowly turned around to see Naruto was looking at him, but his eyes weren't the kind eyes he saw a few moments ago, but filled with sadness as if he was betrayed. Hiruzen's heart shattered. He didn't know when or how, but he knew he messed up and lost his surrogate grandson's trust. For a long time they stared at each other, but when he opened his mouth to say something, Naruto turned around and put the blanket over his head. Hiruzen knew he couldn't do anything now. He damaged his relation with him without knowing. With a heavy broken heart, he left towards the council room. Naruto's mindscape. Why did he lie to me? I thought of him as my grandfather. Naruto said while sobbing lightly. One of his dreams was to find out who his parents were. People always said bad things about his parents, but he knew in his heart that those were not true. He always wanted to prove them wrong. Maybe he didn't do it with bad mindset, maybe he had other reasons, but don't put yourself down for this. Raiju was a bit saddened when he saw Naruto like this, but it had to be done. Naruto had a good heart, but the world was cruel. He had to stay strong or many would try to take advantage of him. Leave it be, it's not like all is lost. You can learn about your family from Lord Raijin, or did you forget about it? Raiju smiled when he saw Naruto started to beam up. So don't forget, you have to get stronger to impress him. Thank you, Raiju-san. I promise I will impress him, Datbeo. And I never back down on my Nindo. Naruto wiped his tear and looked at Raiju. If it's okay with you, can you tell me about storm release? Naruto asked the divine beast. Raiju nodded and motioned him to follow. Konoha Council Room. Hiruzen was pissed. He only asked the Shinobi Council to gather, but for some reason, even the Civilian Council was there. After what happened with Naruto, he was not sure if he could control himself if some idiot said something bad about him. So he decided he was going to finish this as fast as he could. You all are here for the yesterday's incident, and after learning from the last person, I assure you again it was not from the enemy that caused the sudden storm explosion, it was caused by an item going haywire which was sealed inside the Forbidden Scroll. Hiruzen explained. Then what about the Kyuubi chakra? Even if it was for a small time, but there was a Kyuubi chakra spike, wasn't there? Danzo asked, and then all the civilian council went on an uproar. Now I know who called them here and why. But rest assured, Danzo, I am not letting you touch Naruto on my watch. Hiruzen thought. He looked around and saw Shinobi Council was getting restless and the civilian side was shouting to restrain or kill the demon. He saw his advisors had a contempt look on their face. Time to lay out all his cards. Quiet down. This is a council room, not a marketplace. He said with a hard voice and waited till it became a bit quiet. Then he continued, I know there was slight Kyuubi chakra spike, but it was cause of an outside interference, which caused our young Naruto to awaken a new bloodline. The room became extremely quiet. The shinobi side started whispering now while civilian side was still trying to process the thought. Hiyashi beat everyone with the question, can we know what bloodline he awakened? Storm release bloodline. Hiruzen smiled. First ace was put down. Konoha loved bloodlines. With the news of carrying a bloodline, now the shinobi side would aid Naruto as bloodlines were viewed as a great asset, especially the rare ones. And they might even start to care for him more cause of this rare bloodline. Wait, you mean to tell me that the kid got the rare bloodline that the Hidden Cloud Village has? How did the kid got it? Shikaku, the Jonin commander, asked. How he got it is an S-class secret which won't be revealed for now, and for those who are still not satisfied with the Kyuubi problem, I have placed him under proper care. He will be under the care of an elite Anbu, codenamed Tenzo, and as for why he is chosen. Hiruzen snapped his finger and an Anbu came who started distributing some files to the shinobi side only. Second ace has been put down. Seeing this, one merchant head from civilian side shouted. Hokage-sama, why are we not getting any of those files? If it is about the Kyuubi, we have the right to get those. The room became deathly quiet when they felt the huge killing intent. Hiruzen looked coldly at the merchant and asked in harsh voice. Are you ordering me, the Hokage, to give you, a civilian, some top secrets that is related to Anbu? The merchant fainted dead away with the pressure. The killing intent went down, and after taking a deep breath, Hiruzen continued, this was supposed to be a shinobi meeting. I don't know why the civilian council side came when you were clearly not invited, but rest assured that if you people make the same mistake again in the near future, I will ban the civilian council from sitting in any meeting till further notice. Do I make myself clear? The civilian side was scared shitless. They never thought that the old and quiet Sandaime could get this angry, and they didn't want to make this worse. So they apologized and said that it was not going to happen again. Does the Shinobi Council have anything to say after reading the file? Hiruzen asked. But he already knew the answer when he saw the clan heads' faces. No, Hokage-sama. It is the most logical choice and I approve of it. Shibi said. The pup got a new rare bloodline, and with this guy guiding him, I don't see any problem either. I agree with it as well. Sum said. Inoichi didn't say anything, but he nodded anyway, as did Choza and Shikaku. I approve as well. Hiyashi asked. Even though he didn't dislike Naruto for being a Jinchuriki, but he didn't like the kid for his bad reputation, maybe with this he might get onto the good side of the shinobi. Hiyashi thought to himself. With the approval of the Shinobi Council, I put Genin Naruto Uzumaki under the apprenticeship of an elite Anbu who, from now on, will go by the name Yamato. He has a unique ability that in long term will help Naruto with his host. And as for any other discussion or decisions regarding the said Genin, it will be decided by only me and Shinobi Council. And when I see he is worthy of any promotion, be it through any exam or field activity, I and Shinobi Council will decide if he will be promoted or not. Hiruzen said while smiling. Homura quickly intervened. You can't do that, Hokage-sama. The civilian council and we advisors has the right. Right to do what, exactly? Hiruzen didn't let him finish. If he could pull this off, Naruto would have one less problem to deal with. To interfere with shinobi activity. Last time I checked, the right to decide anything related to Jinchuriki falls upon the shinobi side, and now that he is Genin, I failed to see what right does the civilian has to do anything with his shinobi life. And for the advisors, you are to advise me, and I know your decisions are meant to help me for the betterment of the village, but because Naruto is a Jinchuriki, his jurisdiction falls under the whole shinobi heads, not just me. Quote. Danzo and the elders were furious. Hiruzen just foiled all of their plans. It meant that now civilian council had no right whatsoever in any activity regarding Naruto. They might be able to pull the strings behind the civilian council, but the shinobi clan heads were not stupid. And they themselves couldn't make a move on Naruto now that all the clan heads would be watching the kid. One wrong move, advisor or not, they would be in deep problem. It felt like the Hokage just politely told them to off. With this, the meetings is over. Hiruzen smiled slightly and left the council room. It had been long time since he last left the council room with a satisfied face. Dot, 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 dot. With Naruto. Naruto and Raiju were once again at the top of Hokage Mountain, but this time the place looked a bit stormier and the clouds in the sky seemed like they were a bit closer. Hope you don't mind me changing the place to a bit to my taste. Raiju said to Naruto. Truthfully, for some reason Naruto liked this better, so he nodded. Now before we start, you seemed a bit distracted and it's not about the old man. Care to open up? Raiju inquired when he saw Naruto was a bit absent-minded. Naruto sighed. I was thinking about Hinata and Iruka-sensei. Hinata? I don't know the girl much, but the way she talked, it was like she knows about me a lot, and I am kinda confused after hearing all she said, don't get me wrong. Yes, it felt good, really good after hearing those kind words, but I don't know why she feels that way. And for Iruka-sensei, I just want to know what he thinks about me and Kyuubi. They did come to save you, so I am sure they came with a good reason. Ask them directly next time. Take it as an advice, try to know more people. I know you are afraid of being rejected, but if you don't look around, you might miss people that may become your close ally. So try to mix with more people. I am not saying become best friend with them on the first meeting, it will come naturally. Raiju hoped that Naruto didn't bring the old Hokage's fault here. Naruto needed real allies, the ones who would stick with him in tough times. Okay, I will give it a shot. Thanks for the advice, Raiju-san, I feel better now. Naruto responded with one of his real smile, not the fake ones. Raiju relaxed. This kid and depression didn't go together for some reason. With that he started. Now with that cleared, let's talk about storm release. Hearing this, Naruto became more excited. As you know, the storm release is the combination of lightning, water and lastly wind. It is hard to master fully cause of the three element. Now to learn storm release techniques, first you have to learn lightning element. Like most other enhanced element, storm release relies on one basic element. What do you mean by that, Raiju-san? Naruto was a bit puzzled. Well, it's how the enhanced elements work. Take wood release for example, people think it is the combination of earth and water, but it is not. It's enhancing earth element with water element. That's why I called them enhanced element. You are not creating a new element, you are enhancing one basic element into something more like advancing it. Understood till this part, Naruto? Raiju asked. He learned that instead of pushing all the information together at once, if he broke it down bit by bit while answering the kid's question, it would be easier for him to digest. Wow, I didn't know my bloodline works like that. Naruto was getting more curious to know about his own bloodline. Yes. But Naruto, your bloodline is not storm release, it's Senju bloodline, and it helps you to use enhanced element and senjutsu. For the storm release, you already had strong lightning affinity, and with the blessings of Lord Raijin, it got upgraded to real storm release. And like I said before, I will tell you about your senjutsu part later, when I see you are ready for it, but for now let us focus on your storm release. Shall we? Seeing Naruto nodded, he continued, as for the storm release, you first have to learn lightning element, it will be easier as it is your primary element. After that you start enhancing it by adding water element and lastly wind element. I heard some people can use storm release by only adding water into the lightning element, but that's incomplete. Adding the wind element is the final and hardest part, but when you reach that point, you will be able to use pure storm release techniques. Any questions so far, Naruto? Naruto was feeling like he was on cloud 9. He had the Senju bloodline and someone was teaching him patiently about it, and it was not just anyone. It was a freaking legendary beast. He was starting to enjoy this more and more. So I have to master lightning element and then add water and wind element to it to learn storm release techniques. In a way, yes, but you can't master one element, especially lightning element, so quickly. And you can't add water and wind right from the bat, it will take time. You can use low to medium level storm release techniques with lightning and water alone. Combining wind element will be your hardest task, and you need to do it to use high-class jutsu. And as for element mastery, the more you learn and master the lighting element, the easier it will be for you to pull off high-level storm release jutsu. Raiju explained. Wow, so when can we start? Naruto started jumping with excitement. Easy there, little fellow. I know you are excited, but remember, I am here to guide you only. Everything else is up to you. Guess it's time to send you back. Cool your head, kid. I will talk with you later. Raiju said with a small smile. Dot, 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 dot. Real world. Naruto woke up a bit grumpily. He started stretching in the bed. His body was less sore, but him and lying down for too long never added up. He got out of the bed and started thinking of what happened from yesterday. His life just turned upside down and he learned about himself more than he knew for the last 12 years. He was excited to know that he had two bloodlines, but he needed to clear his head. Raiju was right, he needed to cool down. With that, he went out of his room. He saw an Anbu just outside the door. Damn, he almost forgot. Anbu-san, do you know in which room Iruka-sensei and Hinata is? 302 Iruka and 315 Hinata. After hearing that, he started walking towards Iruka-sensei's room. When he reached there, he knocked the door. Come in. Naruto steeled his mind and went inside. Time to learn what Iruka-sensei thought about this whole mess. Hey there, Iruka-sensei. Naruto looked at the guy. His hand was covered in bandages and he had small burn mark here and there. What happened to you? Small explosive. Come here, I will tell you what happened. Iruka then explained to Naruto his fight with Mizuki. When he was in the midair and saw the incoming Fuma shuriken, he used a Kawarimi jutsu with a log. But after that, Mizuki threw some low-powered explosive tags at him. He wasn't injured badly, but he got knocked out by that. Long live the log. Didn't I tell you the log will always save you, Iruka-sensei? Naruto laughed while Iruka became embarrassed. In the class, the jutsu Naruto was good at was Kawarimi, and he always boasted that the mighty log would save everyone. Guess he was right after all. After Naruto's laughter died down, there was an awkward silence. Naruto knew that he had to bring it up, but he didn't know how, and Iruka knew what Naruto wanted to tell him, so he was waiting patiently for him to begin. Iruka-sensei, about the Kyuubi. Do you hate me for it? Naruto looked down, too scared to look at Iruka's face. Naruto, I hate the Kyuubi. It killed my parents. Naruto started to shake, his eyes started to tear up. But Iruka continued, but I don't hate you. You are Naruto Uzumaki, the #1 unpredictable ninja, you are not the Kyuubi. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Naruto was stunned. He looked up and saw Iruka was smiling warmly at him. No malice, no hatred, only concern and care was showing in his face. Naruto jumped and hugged Iruka with all his might. Ouch. Ouch. Naruto, I am injured here, buddy. Slow down. Iruka cringed a bit. When Naruto let go, he pulled him into a gentle hug. No matter what anyone says, you are Naruto Uzumaki, never forget that. He whispered it softly. Naruto was in tears. He nodded a bit while holding onto him. After a while, Iruka let go of Naruto. Naruto, close your eyes for a minute. As Naruto did that, he felt something in his forehead. Open your eyes. He opened his eyes and touched his forehead. He couldn't believe it. It was a Hittite, and not just any Hittite, it was Iruka-sensei's. He looked at Iruka. Hokage-sama said, after what you did, it is only right for you to pass. I agree with him as well. Naruto was beyond happy. He did it. He finally did it. Thank you, Iruka-sensei. Then he remembered, Iruka-sensei, why did you bring Hinata with you? Iruka smiled. Maybe this would help him. Naruto, it was Hinata who came to me when she saw Mizuki was lying to you. She came to me and told me everything, but I was too late to stop you. Then she volunteered to find you. Naruto was taken aback. He didn't know what to say. Why don't you go and ask Hinata herself? I am sure she will like it. Iruka advised Naruto. Sure. I will go see her now. Take care, Iruka-sensei. With that, Naruto ran out of the room. Iruka just smiled to himself. Maybe this might bring those two closer. Naruto noticed one thing. The closer he was getting to Hinata's room, the slower he was becoming. He finally reached her room and knocked. When no sound came, he waited patiently for 1 minute, then he went in. I need to work on my patience. Naruto looked at the girl who was sleeping peacefully on the hospital bed. He went close and sat beside her. She was looking beautiful sleeping like that. Wait, what? Now Naruto started to get nervous. He just realized that he had to talk to a quiet, beautiful clan heiress who seemed to admire him and he knew nothing about her. He steeled himself and poked her cheek gently to wake her up. He was not going to back down now even though he was nervous like hell. He poked again and this time she started moving. He hurriedly sat down but for some reason he wanted to poke her cheek more. Pushing the thought aside, he waited for the girl to wake up. Hinata started to wake up when she felt someone poking her cheek. When she opened her eyes, she saw Naruto. She thought that it was maybe another one of her dreams. Hey Naruto-kun. How are you feeling? She said softly while smiling at him. Naruto was speechless. Her smile was stunning and her face was not red and she was not stammering at all. She looked more gorgeous than before. How? Why am I stammering for? How are you feeling, Hinata? He asked her with a loud voice. That made Hinata snapped out from her daze as she realized, this is not a dream. This is real. Hey, there NN Naruto-kun. How are you feeling? Hinata said while her blush came with full force. Okay, now this was the Hinata Naruto knew, quiet, gentle and a bit weird. Hey, I am doing fine, how about you? I heard that you didn't get injured much. Thank God. Naruto said while giving her his real smile. Thanks to you, Naruto-kun. Hinata thought and she wanted to ask him why he came here, but before she could say anything, Naruto looked directly at her. This stopped most of her thought process. Hinata, did you mean everything that you said back at the forest? Even though knowing that I have the Kyuubi inside me. Naruto desperately wanted to know her answers. Hinata knew she couldn't back down now. She took a deep breath and tried to calm her mind. She could see hope and desperations in his eyes. She had to take this step. Naruto-kun, I meant every single thing I said back in the forest. Might not remember, but when I was kid I got bullied and why you came to save me and took the beating for me. But before I could say anything my bodyguard came and took me away. While he was taking me away, why you looked hurt but yet why you smiled at me. From then I noticed that you work harder and no matter how many times you fail. Why you gave your all and when you fall down you get back up and try again. For a shy and weak person like me, you were my hope. Hinata slowed down. She looked at Naruto. She was praying that Naruto didn't think of her as a failure too. Naruto didn't know what to say. It was more like words were not coming to his mouth. Was it possible for someone to care for him like this? Hinata, I don't know what to say. Hinata felt her heart was getting heavy. But I know you are not weak. You stood up against a Chunin. I think everyone will admire your courage for this, Hinata, as not many genin can stand up against a chunin right after graduating, you know. So don't think that you are weak. You are shy, yes, but you are gentle. That is not bad, I think it's great. Naruto said, and smiled when he saw her smiling. I know what to do. Would you like to be my friend? Hinata was never been so happy after her mother died. Yes, IW would like that, Naruto-kun. There was a cough behind. Naruto looked behind to see a tall pale man with long hair was standing. Ootou-san. Hinata was surprised. She wondered for how long her father was there. Guess it's time for me to go. Naruto knew he couldn't stay here anymore. He bowed slightly towards the Hiyashi, who was surprised at the gesture. Then he went to the door, but before going out, he looked at Hinata and waved, "See you later, Hinata-chan." Hiyashi was taken back. For the last few days he had been learning things about the Jinchuriki that kept on surprising him. He looked back to his daughter and sighed. She fainted with a happy smile on her face. Maybe he would come back later to take her back. As for Naruto, he went back to his hospital room and changed his dress to some normal cloths that were left inside his room. His old cloths seemed smaller somehow. He started walking out of the hospital. In the last few hours lots of things were revealed. He knew that he might have lost his trust on Hokage Gigi, but at the same time he was able to find other people to trust. He also knew he had to start working hard to learn more about his storm release. He looked up at the clear sky and smiled. It was the start of a new beginning. Danzo was beyond pissed. He almost had the Jinchuriki. Everything was perfect, but Hiruzen had to foil his plan once again. He cursed his luck. He had it all planned the moment his root informed him about the explosion and Kyuubi's chakra. He thought the situation couldn't get any better. He nudged Homura and Kaharu about village's safety and told them about the Kyuubi's sudden chakra spike and how it might become problematic if not handled with care. After confronting Hiruzen, he told them it would be better to ask the civilian council to come as well. He wanted to use those status-hungry cowards. But then, Hiruzen countered and ruined everything by giving the responsibility of the Jinchuriki to all of the shinobi heads equally, along with himself, making Naruto's activity fully high-level shinobi affair. Now he couldn't interfere with him directly, nor could he use the other advisors or civilians. What made him angrier was when he heard of the bloodline, a rare one at that. Now he had the right to start his own clan. It wasn't discussed on the meeting, but he knew full well that it would be discussed on the upcoming ones. And with a strong and rare bloodline like that, all the clan heads would favor him. Without the civilian council's backup, the advisors wouldn't be having any power over the boy. He had to start making his move now because he knew the boy would be a powerful pawn if he could get him. But he had to give it to Hiruzen. He knew how to counter his goals. Guess the old monkey still has some fire left. It didn't matter though, he had to start with one of his backup plan. He just hoped he could make it in time. With Naruto. Naruto woke up feeling refreshed. After he came back from the hospital he went to bed directly. He felt too exhausted after learning all the new stuffs from the last 2 days. He stretched a bit and then went to his wardrobe. One of the most important things he learned that he needed to buy new cloths. Most became too small for him after the growth spurt. Why all orange jumpsuit? Don't you have any actual ninja gear? Raiju was surprised when he saw that all of the cloths were bright orange. Naruto didn't know what to say. He didn't know if Raiju would like his reason behind wearing orange cloths. No, I don't like your reasoning behind it. And before you ask, did you forget that I can hear your thoughts? Raiju stated simply. Naruto was surprised first, and then he felt dejected. He wanted people to acknowledge him, to see him not as the Kyuubi brat but as for who he was, as Naruto Uzumaki. That was why he did all the pranks and wore these bright color cloths. Your goal is humble and just for a kid, but you must know that people will like you for who you are on their own. I know I am being a bit harsh, but why do you want the same people that abuses you without knowing or seeing the real you to recognize you? Take that Hinata girl and Aruka for example, just by being yourself they came to acknowledge you. Take time and think about it, but I would suggest that you at least change your appearance. With that, Raiju stopped because he knew that Naruto needed time to rethink about his ways of life. When Naruto didn't feel Raiju's presence anymore, he slowly took his frog wallet and started heading toward market area. He is kind of right, I didn't even approach Hinata and she admires me, and Aruka-sensei cares for me for who I am, not because I act like this. He thought to himself, maybe he needed to change a bit. He thought that he should start with his attire like what Raiju said. He always wanted to look a bit badass ninja, but as for the pranks. Oh no. The pranking stays. He chucked to himself darkly. Aruka and all the Anbu felt a chill going down their spine. A storm was coming, a wicked one at that. They didn't know how they knew, but it was coming. Before Naruto reached the market area, he stopped. It was his first time, but he wanted to use his ninja skills to make his life easier. He went into an alley and hung to a different version of himself. He had this idea for quite some time, but he didn't get to test it. He had the same height and weight, but his hair color changed to black and it was less spiky, and his eye color changed from blue to brown. Also, he made sure his whisker marks in his cheek was not visible anymore. He went into the cloth store first and started looking for more ninja-ish items. This store is called Chainmail, and it was one of the best shops for ninja gear in Konoha, but every time he came before they overcharged him so much that he couldn't buy anything. He just hoped it would be different this time. With that, he chose his cloths and items and gave it in the counter. In the counter there was an old man, who smiled at him and told him the total price. He even gave him a discount because of his age. Naruto paid him, but inside he was hurt. That same man overcharged him all the time, but now that he changed his appearance he was being treated normally. He thought of Raiju's words and then to himself, was all these acting really worth it? He just shook his head and went into other stores. He got lots of things to buy, and for once he might be able to buy them all. Few hours later. After Naruto was done with his shopping, he made one clone and sent it back with his stuffs. Right now he was walking around the town. It was a fresh feeling without all the glares and scowls, but it was sad as well, cause from what he was seeing, as long as he was not Naruto he wouldn't be abused or glared at. Why people hate him? That was the questions he had for the past few years, but now he knew the answer for the hatred, but he still had a few more questions. Why was he chosen? Where was his family? He stopped in front of the park. He saw kids playing while their parents were fondly looking after them from a bit far. The tenderness in the parents' eyes, something he never knew. Raiju-san, can I ask you something? Naruto wanted to confirm this one last time. Go ahead, kid. Raiju was a bit surprised with sudden determined voice of Naruto. Raijin-san will tell me about my family if I can pass his test, right? Raiju chuckled a bit. Yes, Naruto. If you can pass his test and impress him, I am sure he will answer all the questions that you have. What is this test? Can you give me a heads up on what I have to do? Naruto asked while heading towards the Hokage mountain. For now you just have to get stronger by a lot and strengthen your will and courage. Why do you ask, kid? After hearing that, Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Because now I know what I have to do, no. What I want to do. I will become stronger than now and I will pass the test. I will find out who my family is and everything about them, and the best way to do that is through this way. Raiju became interested at the kid's declaration. What about being Hokage? Naruto thought for a bit. I will be Hokage someday, that is my dream and my end goal. But there are a lot of things that I need to accomplish before that. For now my goal is to become stronger to prove my worth and to know my past. Will you please help me, Raiju-san? Naruto pleaded. He knew he couldn't get stronger alone, not to the level to please a god. Before Raiju could answer, suddenly lots of memories started to flow through Naruto's mind. Memories of him keeping his new ninja gears at home, going to the ramen shop, meeting Hinata, and after that meeting Sakura, who smacked him in the head, and that was where the memories stopped. What was all that? Naruto was confused, finally reaching the top of the mountain. The memories felt so real, as if he just did those. Raiju looked back at Naruto's memories to see what he did earlier. After seeing that, he asked Naruto to make another clone and tell it do something that normally he wouldn't do. Hearing that, Naruto made a clone and looked at it wickedly. Boss, what's wrong? The clone asked nervously. I am sorry, my fellow brother. With that, Naruto pushed the clone from the top of the Hokage mountain. Fuck yo boos. Real Naruto waited for a bit, and suddenly images of him falling from the mountain and hitting the ground came to him. Raiju's sweat dropped. This is what you always wanted to do. Naruto gave a shrug. Sighing, Raiju just shook his head. Well, it seems you can get the knowledge from your shadow clones when they get dispelled. Why not make a few more and try to make some actual use of it this time? Naruto nodded, and then he made some shadow clones, but before he could say anything, all of them dispelled themselves. Naruto and Raiju's sweat dropped seeing this. Guess I have to go down first. With Hinata. Hinata was coming back from the academy. The team selection had been postponed to next week for some unforeseen problems, but she knew it was cause of Mizuki. While she was returning, she met Naruto, but before they could get past the greetings, Sakura came, and it ended up same like every time. Naruto asking Sakura to eat with him, and she punched him in the head after rejecting him harshly. But to their surprise, Naruto just went poof. She glared at Sakura and walked past her with a small scowl on her face. She was hoping to spend some time with Naruto. Guess she wasn't lucky today. Hey, Hinata-chan. She spun around to see Naruto coming towards her. It seemed she was wrong about her luck. After seeing Naruto, she became nervous and started fidgeting as usual. Naruto looked at Hinata. From the memories he knew about the postponing of the team selection because of his clone and Hinata's earlier interaction. He wanted to go after Sakura, but after receiving the clone's memories of the punch he got for asking her out, he thought maybe it wouldn't be a good idea, so he came after Hinata. At least she wouldn't hit him that hard. Hey Hinata-chan, want to go eat lunch with me? Naruto was hoping she could say yes. Hinata was overjoyed. Naruto just asked her out to eat with him. Her, with Naruto, eat together. Alone. Yes, of course, she semi-shouted. Seeing Naruto surprised, she got embarrassed. I would like that Naruto-kun. She repeated herself with the usual shy voice this time. Hearing that, Naruto's heart jumped with joy, and being energetic he is, without a second thought he grabbed Hinata's hand and started running towards Ichiraku's place. Hinata thought she was going to faint, but running fast helped her to stay conscious. Ichiraku's place. Naruto was enjoying his time. Hinata was listening to everything he was saying patiently and giggling and laughing at his jokes, not the sarcasm ones he used to get on the academy. Add that with ramen and he was having a great time. He was also asking her about her life and trying to know her more. She stuttered and her face turned red from time to time, like she was sick or something, which made him worried, but she said it was okay. She asked about earlier and Naruto told her about the shadow clone. Speaking of shadow clone, after he learned about the memory transfer, he was hoping his little project to work. After going down the mountain, he made few clones. 2 clones he ordered them to henge and go to the library to find out everything about Uzumaki clan. 2 he ordered to henge into the guards he always saw outside of the Konoha gate and their part was to research about lightning element. And the last one he told him to go find Iruka sensei and ask him about shadow clones. If this would work, Raiju said he would be able to use this in training to cover a lot of grounds. Naruto-kun, do you know the T-Team F formation has been postponed till next week? Hinata asked her crush. Yup. Thanks for telling me, Hinata-chan. He thought for a bit then asked nervously, hey Hinata-chan, if you want, maybe we could train together this week. He was hoping her to say yes, he never had a training partner before. Inside Hinata was jumping with joy, she knew what her answer was but still she had to ask her father. IW would love that Naruto-kun, but let me ask my father first, okay? Naruto agreed, at least she didn't reject her directly. Maybe her father might let her train with him, if he was lucky. After they were done with their lunch, Naruto said goodbye to Hinata. She told him to come to Hyuga clan's place tomorrow in the morning. He didn't want to get his hopes up because most of the adults didn't like him, and what if Hinata's father was like that also? Guess he would see when he went to her place tomorrow. While thinking about all this, suddenly memories of him talking with Iruka came into his mind. He already knew that Shadow Clone was a B-ranked Kinjutsu, but from what his clone learned, these clones were physical instead of illusion. The user's chakra was evenly distributed among every clone, giving each clone an equal fraction of the user's overall power, but they took too much chakra, and for that people could die of chakra exhaustion if they didn't use this jutsu properly. What got his attention was that any experience his clones would get during their time, when they dispelled those would be transferred to him, even the leftover chakra of the clones. They were great for spying and information gathering, but only Jonin-level shinobi could pull them off cause of the risk. After learning all this, he dashed to his home. He got to tell this to Raiju. Naruto's apartment. After Naruto reached his home, he sat down and started to concentrate. He opened his eyes to see he was on the Hokage mountain, and Raiju was lying down with his eyes closed. I know what you want to discuss, kid. Try to keep your excitement down, otherwise even if I don't want to I will hear your thoughts. We will have to work on this if you want your privacy. Naruto was embarrassed after hearing that. Raiju just chuckled a bit, but this will come in handy. With your chakra you can use plenty of those clones without getting exhausted. Guess we have to wait for your other 2 groups to finish their research to make your training routine. Raiju cracked one of his eyes open and looked at Naruto. In the meantime, do you want to learn anything? Naruto thought for a second, then he beamed up. Raiju-san, can you tell me about yourself? Raiju was fully awake now. He knew Naruto would ask about him, but not this soon. He looked at Naruto and saw him looking at him with excitement and expected eyes. Raiju just smiled to himself and adjusted himself so he was facing Naruto now. Long story, kid, but guess we have time. But you have to promise me on your nindo that you will not tell anyone about this without my consent. Raiju warned softly. I promise on my nindo, Raiju-san. Hearing Naruto's response, he continued, I will skip some parts, but don't worry, I will tell you about those later. Where should I start from? Let's go with the Biju. You should know that Kyuubi is not the only Biju. There are total 9 of them, and to humans they are known by their tails. Naruto was taken aback. 8 more creatures like Kyuubi. Now that was frightening. They were created from a dark entity's chakra, and so to balance it out after some time we were created from nature. Naruto asked. There are more like Raiju. Yes, Naruto, there were total 12 of us. We were known as zodiac beasts. Salamander, chameleon, snake, toad, slug, wolf, tiger, eagle, whale, monkey, panda and ox. Most of them created their own den in various places around the world and started their clan. Hopefully you will meet some of them in your journey. And as for some of us, we were chosen by different gods to be their companion based on what we did in our past. Naruto was amazed learning all this. So, Raijin-san choose you. Cool. What did you do? For a second Raiju made a sad face, but it was gone in a flash. I will tell about that later. For now I hope you hold on to your promise not to tell anyone about this. Of course, I promise I won't tell anyone about this without telling you, and you know I don't back down on my promise. Raiju smiled at Naruto. Before they can continue, memories of learning about lightning elements flashed through Naruto's mind. Guess we have to start preparing your training schedule for the week. Naruto nodded and started to sort out what he saw from his memories. Next morning, Naruto was waiting outside the Hyuga gate. He told one of the guards why he came here and he was told to wait. He was becoming more nervous with each passing minute. What if Hinata wasn't allowed to train with him? But after 5 minutes, to his relief, Hinata came smiling with a backpack. Good morning, Naruto-kun. Hinata was glad that her father approved of this. Good morning, Hinata-chan. Naruto let go of his breath. Guess we are training together for this week. Actually my father said I can train with you till early evening. After that I have to return home. Hinata was hoping Naruto didn't mind about this. Okay, cool. Guess we have to train extra hard with the time we got. Let's go. But sound of Naruto's stomach stopped everything. Breakfast first? Naruto asked while scratching his head with embarrassment. Hinata giggled softly but she nodded. Inside the clan compound, Hiyashi watched everything with his eyes. He remembered the talk he had with his eldest daughter yesterday night. Flashback. Father, can I come in? Hiyashi looked from his paper to see his daughter in the door. He motioned her to come. She came and sat in front of him. Father, the team formation was postponed till next week for the problems Mizuki caused. Hiyashi looked at his daughter carefully. She was not that much, and while there was nervousness, but it was vague. The most interesting thing was that she was looking at him directly with firmness in her eyes. When was the last time she did that? Thought Hiyashi. Hinata, is there anything you want? Hinata was taken aback. She knew she couldn't twiddle with this. She had to come clean with her father now. Clenching her fists tightly, she asked, Father, can I train this week with my friend? Hiyashi was not stupid. He knew which friend she was talking about. This friend of yours, is it Naruto Uzumaki? Seeing Hinata nodded, he looked at her, and to his surprise Hinata didn't look away. The stare down between them continued for a minute. Okay, you can. Hiyashi finally broke the ice, but I want you to be back before evening and I will see your progress after the week. If I see you progressed far, then you may continue your training with him on your free time. But, if I see that you didn't improve at all, then you are not to meet with him again. Hiyashi told in a hard tone. He wanted to see how far this could go. Hinata was scared. What if she failed? She wouldn't be able to meet Naruto again. But despite her fear, she steeled her resolve. She took a deep breath. Thank you, Father, and I promise I won't disappoint you. Hiyashi nodded, and after that Hinata left. He looked back at the paper at his hand, but for some reason his mind was focusing on more about what would happen on the upcoming week than the task at hand. Flashback ends. Hiyashi watched his daughter leaving with Naruto. He might be able to bring her out of her shell. She did stand up against a Chunin for him and talked to him without hesitation and fear. He turned off his Byakugan and went back inside, hoping her daughter could handle what was coming to her. Training ground. Naruto and Hinata came to an old training ground. It was small and damaged, so not much people come here to use this place. Naruto looked at Hinata and saw her putting her bag down and started stretching. Naruto thought back of what Raiju said last night. Flashback. Raiju-san, do you have any tips that can help us if Hinata comes to train with me tomorrow? Naruto said after he sorted out his memories he got of Uzumaki clan. He found lots of interesting things and couldn't wait to try them out. But when he remembered about Hinata, he became confused. He asked her to train with him on a whim, but now that he thought about it, he didn't know what to do or what would be good to help both of them. I know what you are worried about, kid. But do remember, even though I said I will guide you, I am not going to give you everything on a silver platter, you have to work hard yourself. But for this, try to exchange ideas of how to get stronger, but before that, find out what are your weaknesses and what you are lacking. If both of you know each other's weaknesses, you might be able to help each other, discuss it out. That's all I can say for now. And one more thing, I won't be talking with you while you are training unless it is urgent, don't want to intrude on your private time. Naruto was confused at first about what he meant by private time, but he put the thought aside for now and started thinking of training methods that could help them to get stronger. Flashback ends. Hey Hinata-chan, can I ask you something? Seeing Hinata nodding, he continued, what are your weak points and strong points? Hinata was shocked. Did Naruto think of her as a weakling too? Before Hinata's thought could go any more haywire. I mean, for me, I just know shadow clones, I suck at genjutsu, don't know much about taijutsu, and as for weapons, I don't know much, but I think I will try to learn kenjutsu. After finishing, Naruto looked at Hinata expectantly. Hinata's fear slowly subsided. Shaking away her nervousness, she replied, I know G Gentle Fist style of Taijutsu A and Basic Academy Jutsu. As for G Genjutsu, it doesn't work cause of my B bloodline. I don't know any other ninjutsu and I don't know much about weapons. Hinata said while looking down. For her to admit this to her crush, it was painful. Naruto thought for a moment. Yesterday night he sent more shadow clones to the library to know what would be a good way to start training. He found some really good pointers, he hoped those could help. Guess we know what our weaknesses are, so now all we have to do is to help each other out on these. Naruto smiled at Hinata, seeing that she slowly started to feel better. First, I learned that a good genin should know about chakra control, first would be tree walking. Do you know about that, Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. Yes, I do know about that, and Naruto-kun. For Hyuga it is one of the basic things for G Gentle Fist. Hearing that Naruto knew what to do, he made 5 shadow clones and ordered them to go do tree climbing. With that out of the way, do you want to spar with me, Hinata-chan? Hinata nodded. They took their stance. Naruto knew he didn't have much of a chance of beating Hinata. Her gentle fist style was supposed to be one of the best taijutsu style, and on the other hand he knew only basic academy style taijutsu. The moment the battle started, Naruto dashed toward her to have the first hit, but to his surprise Hinata dodged it easily. Naruto kept the momentum and kept throwing random punches and kicks, but Hinata dodged them all. After a few minutes, Hinata's movement became sloppy and he was able to hit her with a good punch to her stomach. Hinata bent down and fell to the ground. Hinata looked at Naruto and saw him angry. Why didn't you fight back? I couldn't hit you in the beginning, if you wanted you could have beat me. Am I not good enough for a sparring partner? Naruto was angry, it was like an insult to him. He was giving his all and Hinata was holding back. Hinata was surprised. She thought he would be disappointed but not angry for this. No, I just didn't wanted to hurt you. She barely whispered, tears already forming in her eyes. What do you mean by that? We are sparring, Hinata-chan, and if you hold back against your opponent who is giving everything he got, it's like an insult to him. You are hurting me to get better, Hinata-chan. His voice became soft at the end. He went beside her and kneeled down. Hinata-chan, do you want to be strong? He asked her softly. Seeing her nodding, he smiled. Then don't hold back. Give me everything you got and more. You said you admire me because I never back down, right? Then be like me. Don't back down and don't hold back. If you hurt me now, you will make me stronger so that I do not get killed in the outside world. If you think it like this way, you are hurting me in a friendly way to protect me from real harm. Hearing this, Hinata became stunned. She never thought about it like this. One more time, Naruto-kun. She said with determined voice. Way to go, let's keep on going till one of us falls over. Few hours later. Naruto was lying down on the ground. He didn't have one bit of energy to do anything. Who the hell called this style gentle fist? There is nothing gentle about this. They should have named it poking dagger style or piercing finger style. Naruto grumbled. Out of all the matches, only on the last one he was able to deliver some attacks to Hinata. All the other times she took a steady stance and hit him hard when he got close, real hard, making her the winner. And few minutes ago, his clones dispelled themselves, so he got the experience of tree walking. It was not fully done, but he was almost there. Hinata was also lying down on the ground. She knew Naruto had energy, but until today she didn't knew how much. Any other person would be to the hospital by now after getting their chakra point shut down and reopened so many times. Last match, Naruto accidentally touched her. She got so embarrassed that she thought she was going to faint if Naruto didn't follow up with a punch to her shoulder. She quickly snapped herself out of her embarrassment, but Naruto was able to deliver few more attacks. She was forced to move around the field avoiding his attacks while hitting him, unlike standard gentle fist. Fighting like this was kind of refreshing and fun. She just hoped she could be strong enough to pass whatever her father would throw at her at the end of the week. Hey Hinata-chan, what was the last style you used? Seeing Hinata confused, he elaborated, the one where I almost beat you. You started moving around instead of staying still and hit me while avoiding the attacks. It was so cool. Hinata's face flushed with the compliment. It's not gentle fist style, and Naruto-kun, it was just some random movement. Hinata answered sourly. She was not good at gentle fist cause instead of staying still on one place she felt better if she moved around, that felt more natural to her. I think this suits you better. Why not combine it with the poking dagger style? Hinata giggled hearing the nickname Naruto gave to their gentle fist, but then she stopped. Could she do it? Upgrading gentle fist style in a way that would be more suitable for her to use. I mean, you are quite fast and reflexive, and this would make you more deadly, you know. Dodge and hit, Naruto said while he tried to get up. Damn, this hurt, he thought. Is it possible? It sounds so difficult. What if the clan doesn't approve of this? What if? Then she saw Naruto trying to stand up. He was clearly in pain, but despite that he stood up. She felt so small comparing to him. No more what ifs. I will try my best to make this happen. She looked at Naruto to see him extending his hand while smiling. She smiled back at him and took his hand. Naruto-kun, can you help me create this new style? She was scared a bit, even though she knew what the answer was going to be, she still felt nervous. Of course, Hinata-chan. We are both in this together, aren't we? Naruto said while stretching his body. Hinata smiled. Yes, she could do it. I will do this. She looked at Naruto. She knew what to do and what her new goal was. Lunch? Naruto asked. Hinata replied, Ichiraku's. Naruto smiled at her. This was the 4th day of their training together. Naruto waited while Hinata was preparing their breakfast. He liked this kind of feeling. No need to use the false smile or to be someone that you were not. On the first day he learned that Hinata wanted to make her own style of gentle fist with his help, also about the condition her father gave her. He was pissed at first, but then Hinata said it was okay and not to worry about it. Hinata's dad was now on the top of his getting pranked hard list. After that they explored their weaknesses more accurately and made key points on how to get stronger. For Hinata, she had good chakra control, but her chakra reserve was limited and her stamina was low. So for starter, she woke up early in the morning and jogged around Konoha with Naruto to increase her stamina. She also learned that she needed to be more flexible for her style to work. Naruto helped her on that by letting her fight with 5 of his shadow clones at once. She knew she could improve her chakra control, but she waited for Naruto to finish his tree walking, and he just finished it the day before. Now they could do the water walking together. And as for ninjutsu, both of them started on their elemental training, although to her Naruto was cheating by using shadow clones, but she was catching up to him with her superior chakra control and extra training she did in her house at the night. As for our blonde hero, he found out that he had to do lots of work to catch up with everyone. For what he learned that almost everyone had some training from their homes or clans. Even in academy they were taught with care where he was neglected. But right now he knew that he was progressing, but he didn't know if that was enough or not. He helped Hinata with her morning routine while he sent his clone to brush up his taijutsu. He needed to know something better than the stupid academy style, which was practically useless against strong style like Hinata's gentle fist. But he started to learn kenjutsu and he learned that he had a knack for it. He even found a really good kenjutsu style. It all started on the night of their first training day when he went to Iruka's place for help. Flashback. Hey, Iruka-sensei, you there? Naruto was knocking on his sensei's door. Yeah, I am here, Naruto. Iruka said, opening the door. What are you doing here so late at night? Naruto fidgeted for a bit before answering. Iruka-sensei, can you help me learn kenjutsu? Iruka was surprised. Naruto was asking for something advanced for a genin, not that he minded it, on the contrary he was actually glad. Why do you want to learn kenjutsu, Naruto? But he still needed to know his reason. You know, I started training with Hinata-chan from today and we are gonna train together till next week before the team selection. But while training I saw that I don't know anything except shadow clone, and as for Hinata, she knows this great kick style taijutsu, and not only her but from what I learned that most of my classmates have strong techniques on their own. So I wanted to learn something cool and strong too. Iruka chuckled a bit and motioned him to come inside. Flashback ends. Next day, Iruka gave Naruto a few beginner's scroll of various kenjutsu styles. All of them were good, but the one he liked the most was the twin moon style. It felt so perfect, so natural to him. It used 2 swords and the style was spontaneous and somehow it just went with his style. But the problem was it was a rare style and only one of the techniques was written there. Even Iruka couldn't get his hand on any more of its techniques and the history behind it was quite vague. Iruka gave him strong practice wooded swords, not the real one, and he made Naruto promise not to look for real swords until he got his Jonin sensei. He agreed to it and started learning the kenjutsu style. Each night he would make 20 to 30 shadow clones and practice the basic sword techniques and the twin moon style one as well. Naruto told Hinata about it and she was happy to hear that. Things were going good for Naruto till he learned about her father and his condition. He was pissed. He wanted to pound the guy. It was not like he was going to eat Hinata, not yet anyway, if you know what I mean. But after she cooled him down, he told her that they were going to increase their training and she agreed. So they added nature element training to their routine. So now they had physical training, sparring, chakra training and element training. Although at night, He trained Kenjutsu by himself and Hinata told him that she trained on the element training back at her home. He was kind of surprised to find out what her element was. Flashback. Hinata-chan, do you know what your element is? Naruto asked her after getting his own by the cursed poking dagger style, again. No, I don't know, Naruto-kun. Hearing that, he pulled out a paper and gave it her. She took it but looked at Naruto with confusion while tilting her head to the side. Suddenly, Naruto thought Hinata looked too damn cute and he wanted. No, 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 he shook his head, what the hell is wrong with me? You concentrate your chakra into the paper and depending on your element the paper will react differently. Hinata nodded hearing that. How did you get that Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Uruka-sensei. Naruto replied while giving a victory pose. Hinata giggled and then concentrated her chakra into the paper. After few seconds later the paper got wet. Wow. So you got water as your primary element. Cool. Now we can start our element training together. Naruto grinned while holding some leaves. Flashback ends. Now back to Naruto, who was resting after getting his own again by the cursed poking dagger style. He looked at the sky. All he hoped that he could reach his goal. Raiju said that he was progressing well but he was still nervous. The scariest part was that he didn't know when Raijin was going to test him. It might be today or it might be tomorrow. Raiju assured him that he would be tested when the time was right so he didn't need to be so edgy. He broke out from his thought and looked at Hinata to see that she looked fresh now, meaning it was time to start the chakra training. Few hours later. They practiced water walking on a nearby pool. There was only knee-deep water, so they didn't get too wet. They almost got it right but they kept it for tomorrow, because they needed their chakra for the element exercise. So after eating lunch at Ichiraku's place, they came back to their training ground for the final exercise. How far have you gone on your elemental training, Hinata-chan? Naruto inquired. He learned from Iruka that first step for the elemental training for lightning was to crumple a leaf so much that it would be half the size and for water to take a dry leaf and soaking it completely in one go. Almost done. How about you, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Training with Naruto was not only helping her with her strength but also it was boosting her self-confidence. She was getting confident day by day after spending time with Naruto alone, though she still blushed when he came close, but she started to stutter less and becoming less nervous. Me too. I can almost make the leaf wrinkle fully but not every time, guess need a bit more practice. Hinata nodded and started doing her own training. For her she had to take a dry leaf and soak it fully using her chakra, but she had to do it in one go, not bit by bit. She saw Naruto using 5 clones who are helping him with the training, which made her pout slightly. To her that was considered cheating, and so to catch up with him on the elemental training, she also trained when she went back at home. Although she was careful enough not to let his family or clan members saw that. Her father was usually busy with training Hanabi as usual, and for once she was thankful for that.